So guys, today's video is a quick one, and it's for everyone who is interested in moving to Switzerland and working there as a software engineer or any other jobs. I speak mostly for tech people, but I guess these things are also for anyone really with a white collar job. And what I want to talk about is how getting a legal permit to work in Switzerland and working there under a contract requires a visa. And most Swiss companies don't provide that. It's very hard to kind of get this sort of permit. So yeah, this is kind of like a sad video in a way for all of those who are not from European Union and are interested in working in Switzerland. Then unfortunately for you, I have bad news. It's gonna be very hard for you to get a work permit. The only way you can pull this off is if you get a big tech offer, because big tech companies like Google, Meta, and so on, they can provide sponsorship and go through all the legal hassle to get you a working visa. But most other companies, they don't do that. I mean, there are exceptions. It can happen that you find a local companies that will do that, but as a rule of thumb, it's going to be quite hard. Also, in general, it is much better if you studied in Switzerland as well, maybe for a master, maybe you did a master at ETH or EPFL, then it's going to be easier for you to get a permit, but also it's not sufficient. For example, if you do a master's at ETH, then you do an internship at Google, and then you get an offer from Google, then you will get a permit. But if you just do the master at ETH and then you don't pass any big tech interview, but maybe you pass the interviews for some local companies, it's not guaranteed that they will get you a visa. It can happen, but it's not guaranteed. It also depends on where exactly you come from outside of the EU. If you come from Serbia, if you come from China, or if you come from India, these are all different cases. If you come from Latin America, but in general, it's going to be hard. Like if you're not from EU, the only safe path is master at ETH or EPFL, job offer from big tech. This is kind of the straightforward way this can work. And keep in mind, it's going to be competitive to get a big tech offer in Switzerland. Check out my other videos about it. And another way is if you start working in a big tech with offices in Switzerland, but abroad, maybe you start in India or in Poland or somewhere else in Germany, then you can ask to get transferred to the Zurich office. And this can also be a valid way to do that. It can be a valid way to relocate to Switzerland legally, let's say. If you're lucky enough to have an EU passport, then for you, good news, it's going to be much easier. You only need a work contract, a job offer. So in this case, basically any company will do. If you get an offer from even a local company and a local job, then if you have an EU passport, it's going to be fine. You will just go to register with this job contract, and you will get a permit, a B permit, which is going to last 5 years. And then after that, you can renew it if you have another job. So if you are from EU, it's quite straightforward, but you cannot go there also without a job. Like, I mean, you can go on vacation, but you cannot go there legally for like 1 year and just stay there as if it was another EU country, because Switzerland is not an EU country. So it is very easy to move there if you're from the EU, but you need a job. So the only problem would be to get a job. And regarding this, getting a job will not be too hard, but also not too easy, because it's a small market. It's a small market, it's a competitive market, and it's a market that moves quite slowly. So it's going to be not so easy to get a Swiss job that allows you to move there. First of all, you need to give yourself maybe 1 year, 1 year and a half of constantly trying before you achieve it, if you're from the EU, again. And also, it might happen that the first offer that you get is not great, it's not going to be high paying. Because, well, Swiss companies are well aware that everywhere else in Europe the pay is lower. So they tend to take advantage. I mean, maybe not take advantage, but they know they can afford to offer you below market rate. And you are likely to accept if you are looking to move to Switzerland and want a higher paying job than you have at home. Nowadays, this is changing a bit because, back in the days, people knew about Switzerland salaries, but not so much about its cost of living, and maybe they didn't have a lot of good jobs back home. Today's people are more aware. If you go on Reddit, there are many cases where people say, oh, I have a 90K job in Germany. I got offer a 120K job in Switzerland. Should I take it? And people say, no, don't take it. This is going to be less money for you in the end, because the cost of living is much higher. If you have kids, it's going to be terrible. So yeah, but still companies do that. So it could be that if you're a junior engineer, for example, you can get maybe an offer for 80K. That's what happened to me back in 2018 when I got my first offer for a Swiss job. I got offered 80K. I was in Milan after my bachelor. I think I was 23, 24, and I was making like 2K in Milan per month. And then I got offered like 80K per year. I thought, wow, this is an insane amount of money. I'm going to take it. And then, I mean, I was very happy also with the job for several months. It's only after a while that you understand what are the market rates and what the actual cost of living is. So there is a chance that you will be offered lower than market rate. But then once you are in the market, it's going to be much easier to look for other jobs because you're already in the market, especially after some time. Like if you are in the market for 1 or 2 years, then you can get higher pay in Zurich. So I think I covered it all. This is how you move to Switzerland, either if you are from EU or not from the EU. And in general, if you want to move to Europe and you are not from Europe, well, like if you're from Asia or Latin America, then I would recommend maybe other countries which should be easier, like Germany, Austria, Netherlands. I will link in the description an article that I wrote some time ago from my newsletter, EuropeanEngineer.com. And there I go more into details on what is required to move to Europe to get a working permit. So you can check that, and it can provide some useful inputs. And then you can double check online, ask AI, ChatGPT, or whatever you use. You will get all the information you need. Yes. And if you want to target directly the companies that sponsor relocations, I recommend targeting big tech companies. If you want an easy way to target big tech companies in Europe, all of them would allow for relocation sponsorship from Asia or Latin America. You can go to eurotoptechjobs.com, and there you can easily find all these companies and jobs, and as well as fully remote companies paying 6-figure salaries. I'll see you in the next video. Let me know if you are curious about any topic you want me to explore in the future. Other than that, wish you the best. Peace.